It's the 7th of April 2025. This is a brand new edition of Newsfirst's Primetime News coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo, bringing you the news tonight. For the Newsfirst team, I am Jaimal Ratnayaka.
And I am Hashni Patrana. First up is a look at your headlines for tonight.
Court of Appeal issues interim injunction halting election activities of several local government institutions, including the Colombo Municipal Council. CID questions Namal over joint account containing 59 million rupees of unexplained funds.
Good morning.
Former President Maithripala provides statement to the CID over probes into the misuse of funds from the Presidential Fund. Global markets plunge on Trump's tariff turmoil. President meets IMF representatives, discusses effects of Trump's tariffs. Sri Lanka showing significant signs of recovery following deep economic crisis 2 years ago, says Central Bank of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's population rises by 1.4 million.
In your top story for tonight, President Anukumara Dissanayake has said that the Defence Cooperation Pact signed with India merely formalizes activities that are already in progress. He expressed these views at a rally in Galle.
The rally in Galle was part of a series of rallies organised by the National People's Power in the lead up to the local government elections. The rally was chaired by President Anukumara Dissanayake.
Sampraptiya siduwana mohota anagata subasihina padabandina ආදරණීය මිනිසුන්ගේ බලාපොරොත්තුව මාතෘ භූමියේ උස් නිදහස වෙනුවෙන් ශ්‍රී ලාංකේය
භූදේශපාලන මේ වෙලාවේ අහිතකර තත්ත්වයක් නිර්මාණය වෙලා තිබෙනවා. අපේ අපනයන වලට යම් බලපෑමක් වෙන ආකාරයේ තීන්දුව තීරණ වලට එළඹිලා තිබෙනවා.
The geopolitical situation is challenging and decisions have been made that could impact our exports to a certain extent. We are doing everything in our power to address this issue. At the same time, we are planning measures to ensure that we do not return to an economic downturn or face challenges that could negatively affect us in the future. However, I am confident that our economy is moving toward a better place. While the global economic situation may have some effect on us, we must face this as a nation, not as a political party. This issue is not the result of a government's decision, nor is it due to the structure of democracy itself. This is a geopolitical issue and we must confront it together as a united nation. As a government, we are working diligently to resolve it, but we also urge the people to prepare themselves to face this challenge as a nation. Every country has the right to determine its own duties and taxes, and this is a fundamental principle we cannot undermine. This situation is not a move aimed solely at us. It is a global matter. We are actively working to address it. I met with the IMF this morning and they have outlined specific parameters that we need to meet this year. Our discussions have taken these developments into account as well, and we are confident we will secure the necessary support. The recent visit by the Indian Prime Minister to Sri Lanka was a big win for our country. In 2023, we obtained a soft loan from the Exim Bank. During our discussions, we agreed to reduce the interest rate and extend the repayment period. They have also agreed to offer a 10 billion grant. These efforts are not for personal gain or favour. This isn't for me or someone in my government, but for the betterment of our country and its people. Some are making a big deal out of a Defence Cooperation Pact. However, these activities are already in progress. Joint operations and training sessions are being conducted. This pact simply formalizes what has been happening. We must prioritize the protection of our region, and to do so, we need the support of countries that are more advanced than us. How else can we move forward? If previous leaders had worked more diligently over the past 76 years, we might be in a better position today. Unfortunately, the world has advanced while we have remained stagnant. Now we must use the support of these countries to move forward. This is the path we are taking. This government is focused on working towards the prosperity of our country and its people.
The local government election Sri Lanka 2025.
The Court of Appeal issued an interim injunction today halting election-related activities of 6 local government institutions, including the Colombo Municipal Council. Now, the order was issued after considering writ petitions filed over the rejection of nominations. The interim injunction is effective with regard to the Colombo Municipal Council, Harispattuwa, Pathadumbara, Panvila, Udapalata and Kulyapitiya Pradeshiya Sabhas.
The Court of Appeal issued the interim injunction following petitions by political parties and independent groups requesting the court to declare that the decisions by returning officers to reject nominations claiming they had not been made during the stipulated time frame as unlawful. The court, in granting permission to examine these petitions, directed the respondents to present their arguments before the court on the 16th of May. The judge bench also issued an interim injunction which will remain in effect until that date. The court further ordered that any objections to the petitions be filed before the 5th of May and any counter objections should be submitted by the 7th of May. The petitions were heard by a bench led by the acting chairman of the Court of Appeal, Justice Mohammad Lafa Tahir, along with Justice K.P. Fernando. Representing the petitioners were attorneys Chamara Karyavasam, President's Counsel Faisal Mustafa, Nizam Karyapar and Farman Kazim, along with other legal professionals. Deputy Solicitor General Manohar Jayasinghe appeared in court on behalf of the Attorney General.
Newsfirst, main sponsor.
Tokyo Super, ඕන වැඩකට super.
Whose fault is this? Looks like someone didn't use Tokyo Superbond for tiling. Tokyo Superbond. Do it right the first time.
In more local news, former President Maithripala Sirisena appeared before the Criminal Investigation Department today to provide a statement regarding the alleged misuse of funds from the Presidential Fund. The CID summoned the former president as part of the ongoing investigation into the matter. Sirisena arrived at the CID office this morning and left in the afternoon after providing his statement. The Criminal Investigation Department today recorded a statement from parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa regarding a joint account with unexplained funds amounting to 59 million rupees.
MP Namal Rajapaksa arrived at the Criminal Investigation Department around 10 a.m. to provide his statement. The investigation pertains to a joint account with approximately 59 million rupees which was discovered during a money laundering probe against Carlton Sports Network Private Limited. During the investigation, it was revealed that the joint account was maintained by Desi Forest along with Yoshitha Rajapaksa. Desi Forest was summoned to the CID on the 3rd of March to provide a statement regarding the account. According to the police, Desi Forest stated in her statement that the funds were deposited into the account by Namal Rajapaksa. The CID recorded a statement from MP Namal Rajapaksa which lasted over an hour.
Case file.
It was recently disclosed at the Committee on Public Accounts that a luxury vehicle registered under the name Yoshitha Rajapaksa was released during the period when vehicle imports were banned.
ඔබතුමා මේ දැන් මේ වාහන ගේන්න බෑන් කරලා තිබුණ කාලය තුල වාහන කස්ටම් එකේ නිදහස් කරලා තියෙනවද? එකක් දෙකක් හරි කීයක් හරි?
නෑ එහෙම විශේෂ මේ වාහන බෑන් කරලා තියෙනකොට අපිට මේ
නෑ එහෙම නෑ නේද?
Only under exceptional circumstances such as for embassy vehicles were any vehicles allowed. I also recall a special batch of vehicles being brought in for the police force. In those cases, government approval was granted.
මේ 2021 6/20 දින මට හිතන්නේ මෙන්න මේ BMW රථේ.
On the 20th June 2021, 2 BMW vehicles were released from customs. One of them was registered to Yoshitha Kanishka Rajapaksa, number 114, Walawa, Madamulana. The other went to a Walawa, though I'm not sure of the person's name, but it was assigned to Chanuka Upendra Ratwata. Another BMW was released on the 20th June 2021 to Udahawalawa, Kiribat Kumbura, Asanti Bandaranayaka, and registered under Yoshida Rajapaksa's name. So it appears these BMWs were indeed imported. Our customs database contains records of every vehicle we release. We can verify these details upon check-in. Based on the initial information I have, it is possible these were vehicles that had been previously seized and later cleared after investigations into their alleged illegal importation. All of this information is available in our system and we can provide a full report if needed.
MP Sirasa Dasanayake has been further remanded until the 21st of April. Now, this order was issued following his appearance before the Badulla Magistrates Court.
MP Sirasa Dasanayake, currently in remand custody, was produced before the Badulla Magistrates Court this morning. This is in connection with allegations of misusing the Uva Provincial Council's letterhead during his tenure as Chief Minister to raise 1 million rupees for preschools and subsequently obtaining funds through a cheque issued in his name. He was already in remand custody until tomorrow, as ordered by the Colombo Chief Magistrates Court in relation to multiple financial corruption charges.
කන්තලේ මධ්‍ය මහාවිද්‍යාලීය ක්‍රීඩාංගණයට අප්‍රේල් 19 දවස පුරා
අවුරුදු සිරියෙන් පුරවන්න ඔයාලත් එන්න.
අවුරුදු කුමරා කුමරි බයිසිකල් ධාවන තරගය
උරුපැදීමේ තරගය සහ ජන ක්‍රීඩා රසක් සමග
කුරුණෑගල බැජී සංගීතයට ජනප්‍රිය ගායක ගායිකාවන් ගී ගයන
නැගින හිරට අවුරුදු
අප්‍රේල් 19 වනදා දවස පුරා
කන්තලේ මැදි විදුහල ක්‍රීඩාංගණයේදී
ඔබේ ගමේ නගරේ දේශපාලනයේ හෙට දවස සතිය දිනවල සවස 6:30ට
sent shockwaves through global stock markets, saying, quote, sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something, unquote. Meanwhile, US Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick announced that the tariffs imposed by President Donald Trump are here to stay.
Sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something. We have been treated so badly by other countries because we had stupid leadership that allowed this to happen. They took our businesses, they took our money, they took our jobs, they moved it to Mexico, they moved it to Canada, they moved a lot of it to China, and it's not sustainable. We're not going to do it. Now we have hundreds of billions of dollars is pouring into our country. On a monthly basis, it's pouring, it's already started because they put tariffs on. And eventually it's going to straighten out and our country will be solid and strong again.
U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said the U.S. has no intention of delaying the implementation of new tariffs introduced by President Donald Trump, despite several countries' calls to reconsider them. More than 50 countries have directly contacted the White House to initiate trade talks following U.S. President Donald Trump's imposition of tariffs. On Wednesday, the 2nd of April, Donald Trump announced tariffs on nearly all of the U.S.'s trade partners. A 10% tariff was imposed on several countries, taking effect on the 5th of April, while a higher rate was set for around 60 countries, which will take effect on the 9th of April.
How has the world reacted to Trump's tariffs?
European trade ministers are converging to decide on the first of a series of retaliatory tariffs to be imposed on the US following the tariffs that Trump imposed on Europe. First of all, they would like to show they are united because Europe is currently really divided about how to move forward. French President Emmanuel Macron, for example, has been saying the bloc should go deeper and beyond just retaliatory tariffs, calling for European companies to stop doing business with the US until there is a sense of clarity about how to move forward. Italy, on the other hand, is very skeptical, saying it doesn't want to see any tit for tat. And the Irish are saying to give it some more time and call for a very considerate reaction. Now, South Korean Trade Minister Chung In-kyo is scheduled to visit Washington, D.C. for talks with US Trade Representative Jameson Greer. During this visit, the South Korean official will push to reduce the 25% tariff on goods from his country and address concerns over the impact of these tariffs on bilateral trade between the two allies. Now, officials in China, whose goods will be subjected to a 34% tariff in the US, continue to criticize the new policy. In the latest comments, its foreign ministry spokesperson Lin Jian has called the charges typical, unilateral and protectionist bullying that serve only the US interests. China, in response to the US move, has announced a retaliatory 34% tariff on US goods due to come into effect on 10th of April.
Amid the market turmoil, analysts have also sharply raised the odds of the US entering a recession within the next 12 months.
What is happening in the global markets?
The Saudi Stock Exchange was down 6.78% on Sunday, the worst daily loss since the COVID-19 pandemic, after sweeping US trade tariffs sent global markets tumbling. Asian stocks from Shanghai to Tokyo and Sydney to Hong Kong plunged by levels not seen in decades, as global markets continue to reel from US President Donald Trump's tariffs. The Shanghai Composite was down more than 8% at one point, Hong Kong's Hang Seng dropped more than 13%, and Japan's Nikkei 225 closed down by 7.8%. Slumps in mainland China, Hong Kong and Taiwan were exacerbated as investors caught up with the big falls seen in other markets on Friday as they were closed for public holidays. The Shanghai Composite closed 7.3% lower and Taiwan weighted index lost 9.7%, its biggest drop on record. On Friday, all three major stock indexes in the US fell more than 5%, while the S&P 500 dropped almost 6% in the worst week for the US stock market since 2020. In the UK, the FTSE 100 plunged almost 5%, its steepest fall in 5 years, while exchanges in Germany and France faced similar declines. Regular trading at the Colombo Stock Exchange was temporarily halted this morning after the S&P SL 20 dropped over 5% from the previous close. At close of trading, the S&P SL 20 had dropped to minus 5.92%. The all-share price index stood at minus 4.64%. The CSE reported a total turnover of 6.4 billion rupees at the close of today's trading session.
How will the US tariffs impact Sri Lanka?
The recent executive decision by US President Donald Trump has imposed a 44% tariff on Sri Lankan exports effective from April 9th. This decision, aimed at addressing trade deficits with various countries, is expected to have significant implications. Sri Lanka annually exports approximately $12 billion worth of goods and services, with around 25% or $3 billion of these exports destined for the United States. In contrast, Sri Lanka imports goods worth about $360 million from the US, which is roughly 10% of the value of its exports to the US. This results in a trade deficit of approximately $2.6 billion in favor of Sri Lanka. President Donald Trump highlighted the disparity in trade during a recent statement, noting that countries like Bangladesh, Pakistan and Sri Lanka benefit significantly from trade with the US.
Bangladesh is 74%, so you see what's going on. Pakistan, 58%. Sri Lanka, 88%. So what we're doing is we're taking not the full, we could take the full 88%. Thanks a lot, Aaron. He's doing a very good job. How's he doing, all right? I think you better take it with you. It's not going to last very long. He's going to put it, it's going to follow you down with the wind. I brought a hat just in case it got too windy, but here, would anybody like a hat? I'm not giving it to a cabinet. I'm giving it to the auto workers. Come here. But you see the numbers. The numbers are so disproportionate. They're so unfair. At the same time, we will establish a minimum baseline tariff of 10%. You notice that on the chart. And that'll be on other countries to help rebuild our economy and to prevent cheating.
Dr. Anil Jayantha Fernando, Deputy Minister of Labour and Economic Development, explained that the tariff structure is based on the trade ratios between the US and individual countries. He noted that the 44% tariff on Sri Lankan exports is derived from a formula that considers the trade deficit between the two nations.
Their goal is to present a tariff structure for imports, but this structure is based on the trade ratios with individual countries. They use a common formula which divides the trade ratio difference between imports and exports with the United States. Accordingly, an 88% ratio is applied to Sri Lanka, reflecting the trade deficit ratio. We have exported goods worth 938,873 million rupees to the United States based on FOB value. Similarly, we have imported goods worth 144,557 million rupees based on CIF value. When the difference of 793,316 million rupees is divided, it results in an 88% ratio. From this, a common ratio of 44% has been proposed for us. This ratio is applied to every country.
Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism Vijitha Herath met with US Ambassador to Sri Lanka Julie Chung on rebalancing Sri Lanka's trading relationship with the United States. Julie Chung posted on X, quote-unquote, "I emphasized the importance of reciprocal treatment for US exports." She added that a fair, balanced trade relationship supports economic growth, creates jobs and strengthens industries in both countries. A meeting between President Andrukumara Dissanayake and representatives of the International Monetary Fund was held this morning at the President's office. The discussions focused on the preliminary review associated with the fourth tranche of Sri Lanka's extended fund facility arrangement with the IMF.
The meeting between President Andrukumara Dissanayake and representatives from the International Monetary Fund focused on Sri Lanka's progress thus far under the IMF-supported program and the next steps required to achieve Sri Lanka's future economic targets. Both parties also exchanged views on emerging economic challenges, particularly in light of new trade tariffs proposed by the United States and their potential implications for Sri Lanka. The IMF delegation was led by Sanjay Panth, Deputy Director for Asia and Pacific Department, and included Peter Brewer and Evan Papayerio, senior mission chiefs.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka today presented its flagship publication, the Annual Economic Review for 2024, to President and Minister of Finance Andrukumara Dissanayake, highlighting the steady progress of Sri Lanka's economic recovery following the country's most severe downturn in recent history.
The Annual Economic Review for 2024 was officially handed over to President and Minister of Finance Andrukumara Dissanayake by Governor of the Central Bank Dr. Nandalal Virasinghe during a special ceremony held at the President's office. According to the review, the Sri Lankan economy showed significant signs of recovery in 2024 following a deep economic crisis experienced 2 years ago. The report highlights that signs of improved economic activity, partial recovery in purchasing power and reduced uncertainty are visible. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka reports that the economy is stabilizing based on key economic indicators. Economic growth, which was -7.3% in 2022, was rebounded to 5% by the end of 2024. Inflation, which was 46.4% in 2022, has decreased to -1.7% by the end of 2024. The financial sector has also shown stability, with bank interest rates dropping from 29.7% during the 2022 economic crisis to 8.9% by the end of the previous year. The values of the US dollar, which was 365 rupees during the economic crisis, has fallen to 296 rupees by the end of the last year. Foreign reserves, which was dropped to 1.7% in 2022, have significantly increased to 6.1% by the end of 2024. Additionally, the country's public debt, which was 114.2% of GDP during the economic crisis, has decreased to 96.1% by the end of the previous year. Public revenue, which had fallen to 8.3% of GDP, has risen to 13.7%. Consequently, the budget deficit has been reduced from -11.7% to -6.8% according to the Central Bank report.
The Department of Census and Statistics has reported that Sri Lanka's total population has increased by 1,403,731 since the 2012 census. As a result, the current population stands at 21,763,170. The Department of Census and Statistics said the average population growth for the period between 2012 and 2024 is 0.5%. The Western Province has the highest population, representing 28.1% of the total. On the other hand, the Northern Province has the smallest population, accounting for just 5.3%. Looking at statistics by district, Gampaha and Colombo districts have the largest populations, each exceeding 2 million. Meanwhile, Mullaitivu, Mana, Kilinochchi and Vaunia are the districts with the lowest populations. The report of the Census of Population and Housing 2024 conducted by the Department of Census and Statistics was officially handed over to President Anurukumara Dissanayake this morning at the President's office.
Parliament is set to debate the Batalanda Commission report this Thursday. This report uncovers numerous details about abductions, torture, disappearances and murders that occurred during the 1987 and 1990 period.
The Batalanda Commission report.
Excerpt from the Batalanda Commission report.
Officers responsible for enforcing the law must act in accordance with it. No one can act against the law under the guise of their uniform, hoping for promotions and various privileges.
End of excerpt. This statement was made by the Gampaha High Court judge while sentencing 5 police officers, including Douglas Pierce, to severe imprisonment for the abduction and detention of 2 brothers from the same family at the Batalanda torture chamber. Douglas Pierce was the head of the Kalania anti-subversive unit at the time. His promotions are considered the longest leap in police history. A special cabinet paper was used for granting these promotions. It was presented jointly by the then President and the State Defence Minister. At the Presidential Commission, it was revealed that Douglas Pierce, who faced numerous charges including murder, abduction and extortion, was rapidly promoted due to his qualification of eliminating subversive individuals. The term eliminating subversive individuals was revealed by the Commission to mean the extrajudicial killings of individuals. Excerpt of former IGP Ernest Pereira's statement before the Commission.
Nalin Delgoda says that Douglas Pierce acted to curb the growth of the terrorist movement by eliminating terrorist suspects.
This is a general statement. It might be a brief expression of Delgoda's thoughts.
What do you mean by this?
Elimination means suppressing terrorist activities outside the mechanism of justice.
The Presidential Commission revealed that the Batalanda torture chamber was used for abducting various individuals and extorting them. Douglas Pierce has been sentenced to 5 years in prison, but only for the charge of abduction with the intent to kill. The judicial process is still ongoing. What is the obstacle to initiating a thorough investigation and bringing those involved in these crimes to justice? When will justice be served?
The Batalanda Commission report.
News First with the people.
Saudi authorities have announced a temporary visa ban affecting 14 countries ahead of the Hajj season.
Saudi Arabia has temporarily suspended the issuance of Umrah, business and family visit visas for citizens of 14 countries effective until mid-June 2025, coinciding with the end of the Hajj pilgrimage season. Officials confirmed that individuals holding Umrah visas can still enter Saudi Arabia until the 13th April. The affected countries include Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Egypt, Indonesia, Iraq, Nigeria, Jordan, Algeria, Sudan, Ethiopia, Tunisia and Yemen. Saudi officials have identified several factors behind the decision of the temporary visa ban. The primary concern is unauthorized Hajj participation. In the past, many visitors entered the country on multiple entry visas, but during Hajj season stayed illegally to perform Hajj, leading to overcrowding and safety risk. Another major factor is illegal employment. Travelers using business and family visas reportedly engaged in unauthorized work, violating visa rules and causing labour market disruptions. The Saudi Ministry of Foreign Affairs said that the temporary visa ban would help streamline travel regulations and improve safety measures during the Hajj season. Authorities urge affected travellers to comply with the new rules to avoid penalties. Reports indicate that individuals staying illegal in Saudi Arabia despite the ban may face a 5-year restriction on future entries. Officials reaffirmed that normal visa processes are expected to resume after mid-June.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Primetime News.
Thank you for watching.
Good night.